Okay, just a quick shot from where I'm coming from. This was my first attempt at true raised beds, and it worked pretty good. Unfortunately, I'm never going to get the deal on the trucks again that I got to do this one, so it would be incredibly expensive. And, I made some mistakes. One of the biggest mistakes was that even in this area, I let it go beyond 4 feet, and it becomes next to impossible to weed. There's another area here that I actually had to put a board down on. And so that was a big one. The advantages of raised beds are they drain well. The disadvantages that in dry weather you have to really irrigate the hell out of them. So I was running irrigation hoses through here, and I ran them like 18 hours a day, every other day, unless it rained. Finally, in the method that I was using, you can see where the soil level is. And I've leveled these beds off twice now with loads of earth. It was 10 yards each load, and again, it would take another 10 yards now. So with the next method that I'm going to be showing, hopefully I'm going to eliminate all of those problems. And aside from all that, there's the constant weeding that has to be done. So we're going to try to address that too. So, I spent the whole winter researching different types of raised beds materials, different types of raised beds, ways to fill the raised beds, and just spent way too much time on YouTube looking at the different things. And I came to a conclusion of what my next garden is going to look like. So what we have here are 2 window wells screwed together. Unfortunately, they didn't come perforated, so you have to drill your own hole, or in my case I happen to have a little hole punch that my dad left me years ago, so I was able to punch through the metal. So you put 2 window wells together, and you make 2 units like that, and then you get what's called a cattle panel. Cattle panels are 14 feet by about 51 inches, I think. It's probably not going to tell you anything unless I move back. And they're very flexible and very strong. And you can see where it's arched now. It'll fit in the back of a pickup truck the same way. Then a couple of T-posts at each end of the cattle panel just to hold it stable. And you've got something that's very flexible but very stable. It's not going anywhere. Bottoms of the beds I've covered with cardboard and filled in a little bit more with wood chips. And I'm going to show you the next thing when I get there. So you'd probably be standing here looking at this and saying, geez, that's a hell of a lot of dirt that we're going to have to use to fill that up. That's 22 inches deep. Well, fact of the matter is, you're not going to. If we go over to one bed that I've started working on, over here, it takes a while to get there. You see that is half full of rotten wood and shavings and all kinds of other stuff. And that's because we're going to make use of a technique called hugelkultur. And what happens is that this starts rotting underneath the soil, creates heat, also creates soil, also releases a lot of mycelium that come up from the soil, so that your bed becomes a living organism. Now I'm going to cover this with leaf mold before I put the soil on, so you can see you're only using about 11 inches of soil rather than 22. And here's the bed with the leaves in place and ready for soil. Those will compact down, so quite a bit more soil than looks like will go in there. You could probably use compost too. Just I think it's important to keep the soil and the roots of the plants away from what is decomposing, at least for the first couple of years. Anyway, that's one done. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more to go. So, here are the completed beds. Took me and my friend Greg just about the whole afternoon to fill them. About 7 yards of dirt to top off each one of the beds. And you can see there's a little bit of headroom at the top of each bed. That's going to be for the mulch that we're going to put on top. And there's hard-working Greg up there. Yeah. You want to be on YouTube?
Sure, why not?
Yeah. Give a wave. Yeah. So I'm glad I didn't get them done any sooner, because we're going to have frost tonight. Anyway, fast forward a month or so and we're up and running. There's going to be a thunderstorm happening, so hopefully I can get this in before that. We got some sweet peppers and some hot peppers happening here. And then down here, I notice that I've got a hot pepper set already. Can't remember what variety it is. And back here we got snow peas that are coming along nicely, starting to blossom. Carrots are doing very well. And these tomatoes are Juliets. And we've got about, I would say, almost a dozen set. That's my favorite type of tomato. And you can see they're very nicely crawling up the cattle panel. And if you walk over here, you can see some beans and some other types of climbing tomatoes coming up here. Here's our cukes for this year. There's an Armenian cuke over here. Never grown that before. We'll see how it works. And then just the normal English cucumbers coming there. Over here is covered cabbage that we didn't cover enough, so the butterflies still got in there. And this is supposed to be broccoli, except we didn't read the pot properly. This stuff here is called broccolino, and it gives you little florets. It's a cross between Guylan and broccoli. Up front here we have real broccoli plants. And these are determinate tomatoes, some kind of Italian variety. I'm trying something new in my tomato pruning, in that I'm pruning heavily on the climbing tomatoes still, but on the determinate ones, I read somewhere or saw somewhere that you're not supposed to prune them very much, because you'll actually be decreasing your yield. And here we had what was radishes. The radishes crop was good this year, nice and sweet, and they came. Lettuce is coming good. These are some more climbing beans, Vortex beans, my favorite types of beans. Then we got, again, I forgot what type, variety. We got acorn squash on one side, I think, And I can't remember what the other type is. It might be turban squash or something like that on the other side. And they're both going to be climbing up. This one is climbing up the trellis very nicely. Onions aren't doing too great. Can't really figure out why. And then we got over here more beans. So some yellow beans and some more bush beans that are crawling way up there. So far everything seems to be growing very well, even with wood mulch. I brought the wood mulch in to touch most of the stuff, and just as an experiment, it seems to be working out pretty good. Tune in next time and we'll see how well the production is going.